Howdy, this is Ethelred, the worst Civ player on YouTube. Let's play some Civ, this time as Gandhi. Still on the Yet Not Another Earth Maps Pack map, which means we'll be on Earth with a true starting location in subcontinent India. We've got 22 civs in 41 city-states, maximum this map will allow, so it will be full. It will not be half empty and filled with barbs. We are still on the Emperor difficulty level. As always, we're on the epic game pace. We've got all the victory types enabled and no unusual game options besides that the Bosphorus Strait is a sea, which is just kind of cool. We enabled it in the Russian playthrough and it allows you to sail right up into the Black Sea, so that was kind of cool. Alright, we'll let the narrator say his bit now and I will be quiet.
Greetings, President Gandhi, great-souled leader of India. You are the ruler of one of the oldest countries in the world, with history stretching back almost 10,000 years. A spiritual country, India is the birthplace of three of the world's great religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. It is a passionate land of music and color, and it is a land of great wealth and grinding poverty.
Alrighty, let's see what we got. Ooh, buffalo. I like the buffalo tile. And gold. Alright, so at least one luxury and one bonus food tile. So, alright, well, we'll deal with this. We will settle on spot as always and build a scout to help scout the region. And we will explore. We'll go for... What does a... What do the buffalo need? Trapping? Requires trapping. Does that mean that they're going to get +1 production? I think it probably does. Anyway, let's go with pottery first. That's the canonical first technology. So, for the purposes of this series, we're not going to make any difference between Pakistan and India. That's basically because Pakistan didn't exist until 1947. That's... for all intents and purposes, if I don't win by about 1950, then I did something wrong. So that's pretty much not relevant. So all of Pakistan and India is India for this game. Also, I want to take just a moment to reflect upon the really cool fact that India is, to a certain extent, really a treasure house of connections between the modern world and ancient man. For instance, there are examples of individuals alive today in India whose DNA bears markers that go all the way back to 60,000 years ago. There are, among the priest class of Hindus, which is called the Brahmin, who sing religious songs. There are sounds, there are portions of those songs which are not in any recognizable human language alive today. They're not in Hindi, they're not in English, they're not in, Arabic. They're in nothing that we know of. But they've definitely got syntax, and they've got meaning encoded into them. They've been linguistically analyzed, and it's believed that they go back about 10,000 years. So we're talking about sounds that you can go to India and hear today if you're lucky enough to hear the Brahmins sing. You can hear sounds, language from the dawn of humanity. And just in case you might think that, well, they probably have corrupted these songs over the many, hundreds or thousands of generations. They have not. Because among the Brahmin, the Brahmin priest class is an inheritable class. So if you are born into it, you are Brahmin. And the fathers teach these songs to their sons with the accuracy that can only come with religion. So they stress perfect accuracy. Before I get too ahead of myself, I want to mention that besides the local Indians, this playthrough is also going to be about a civilization or a culture which we became familiar with in the Russian playthrough, which was the Samara culture. And if you've listened to that playthrough, I recommend you do. You'll learn that the Samara culture were the people who created the Proto-Indo-European language. And that language is the one which is shared amongst all of Europe and Russia. So, for instance, Latin is a child language of Proto-Indo-European. So is Lithuanian. So is Swedish. So is, German. So all of them are children languages of Proto-Indo-European. The Samara culture created that language. And keep in mind here, when I talk about the Samara culture, and mind you, we're going to talk about two cultures in this series. The local Indians and the Samara culture. I'm talking about horse lords of the high steppe in Russia. All right? Think Subutai from Conan. So, really kind of exotic, ride their horse, Mongol, long brown hair, shoot bows, badasses of the steppe. All right? So they create this language, Proto-Indo-European. But for the moment, let's just shelve the Samara culture. I just want to point out right now, the only takeaway that you need from this is that we're going to be covering two cultures. So let's see, I've talked about the Brahmin oral tradition, I've talked about this, that, and the other thing. It's 3875, which brings me to that the first settlement in India goes back 7,000 years. That makes India the longest continuously inhabited place on Earth. Alright, so we found Ormus, and that's great because I don't mind a city-state here to watch this pass. Now, metagaming a little bit, I know I'm on subcontinent India, which makes this the Himalayas. Actually, that makes this the, the Toba Kakar mountain range. I guess the Himalayas are up here. So this is the Toba Kakars, and they separate India, right here, from Afghanistan. And this first civilization that we're going to talk about, this first culture, was right here in the Bolan Pass in the Toba Kakar. And they came over from the Middle East. They were really just human migration through the Middle East and Afghanistan. They passed through these mountains here, and they settled right here, and the name of that culture was the Mehrgarh. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, let me know. If you're that kind of historian, you just happen to know that, let me know, because I don't know. I've never heard it pronounced. I'm just, salt! Wow, so nice, salt. That is great. I will see if I can get down there. Anyway, so I'm also going to take a moment to talk about rivers here, because there are two river systems in India which are, more salt, which are really both birthplaces of civilization. One is right here. This is the Indus River Valley. You'll see that the game designers rendered it as desert. That's because in modern day it is all desert. But at this time in India, it was a swamp. And we'll get into the climate change later. There is natural climate change. We don't need, carbon pollution for climate change. But the climate has changed and things have moved on. Back in this day at 3825 BC, this was all marshland here. All right. So that makes it 3800. Oh, nice. Persia. Nice to meet you, Persia. So I wonder if I'll be able... I probably won't. Let's try for this ruin, though. And I'm hoping for food. That's what I'm hoping for. Actually, they're leaving, so... Gold. Alright, well, there's worse things out there. Alright, so Mehrgarh had a bunch of things in common with the Middle Easterners of the time. It shared farming techniques, wheat varieties, the same set of domesticated plants. It herded the same animals. Did all those things the same as was done in the Middle East at the time. Alright. what we got here? Still one citizen? This is pathetic. This growth is really not happening. Let's check to the east. Alright, so also there's a genetic sequence about lactose tolerance. Really, it seems common to trace human migration by lactose tolerance and that gene. So they share that gene in common with the Middle East. And I'm, again, speaking about the Mehrgarhs right here. So they share that in common. They developed a lot of ceramics for both pottery and figurines. The figurines they painted and glazed over. Look at this pretty nice site right here. A couple of sheep and some gold and wheat. This is a nice site right here. Anyway, yeah, so they painted and glazed these figurines that most of them were women with big breasts. And the archaeologists tell us that this is because they worshipped mother goddesses. I can't help but think that this was probably ancient porn, but that's just my opinion. All right, what else? So we found a lot of ornaments out of Mehrgarh made out of seashell, limestone, turquoise, sandstone, and things like that. Also, we found that these people were skilled in dentistry, what they call dentistry in vivo, which is dentistry done against living people. Mining. That's not bad. I'm not going to complain about mining. Nice to have a free tech. Actually, that's great. I already feel the push to get a population. So I'm hoping to find population. Advanced weapons, again, I can't hardly complain. We're already at 3625. So let's see. The Mehrgarhs.
Shall declare.
Okay, pottery. Hold on. Got to do some. I'm not going to beeline riding. I'm not even going to be. Well, what am I? Yeah. So I've already got mining. I don't feel like I need a beeline calendar. Let's just do animal husbandry. Yeah, let's do animal husbandry. I would love the Temple of Artemis, but I'm not going to try for it. What was I saying? Oh, yes. They had some relatively advanced technology in Mehrgarh, which included stone and copper drills, updraft kilns, and copper melting crucibles. So they would mine copper and then melt it and use it in their tool production. They also cultivated wheat, rice, and barley. It looks like they lived basically off of rice. And their grains they stored in granaries. They used tools fashioned out of copper, and their baskets were sealed with bitumen. What else? We should probably bring this warrior home. Probably through here, I'm thinking. Actually, we'll bring him up here and we'll have him check this area of Himalayas. So like that. Cocoa and bananas. I love me some bananas. I think I'm going to settle like a city right here. And that'll get the gold, and that'll get the bananas, and that'll be on a river tile. And it'll watch this access point. Unless I bring a city up here. Well, I see this as a city spot. I see this as a city spot. And we'll just keep going. Not very happy with the amount of population that we've got. But with the buffalo, maybe that will help. Alrighty then. Let's have the scout help out some of the revealing of map around here. Anyway, so yeah, some of the first evidence of goat, cattle, and sheep herding comes from here. And they also cultivated dates. Ah, barbs! And my 2 units happen to be, both of them, right next to this barb camp. I think I can go ahead and... Wow, yeah, let's deal with this situation here. And gyms! That might be a little far for my city to be able to take advantage of. especially since this unit has got advanced weapons. That's pretty nice. 3450. Wow, geez, we've really gone it. Things have passed so fast. 3450. So the first human use of copper or not copper, but cotton appears to have been used here. And it looks like they used buttons as well. So, I mean, it's hard to think of buttons as a technology, but it is. In the Mehrgarh civilization at its height, this city had about 25,000 people in it. So that's a lot for 3425 BC. And we're talking about 25,000 people that live in mud brick homes. They usually had 4 rooms in their mud brick homes. Also, late in Mehrgarh's civilization, you see evidence of lapis lazuli beads, which means that they were trading with Afghanistan, probably with a city north of Kabul called, what was it called? Badakistan. Badakishan. Anyway, I rejected that embassy. I'm not going to take embassies. What do they take me for? They just want to know where my stuff is so they can come pillage it. And we're finally done with the monument. So, and it's still way too soon to do a settler, so we will build a granary. What else? It's 3375. Yeah, so about this time, if you look at the burial sites, you'll see that the amount of gifts which were given to the left with the dead really start to diminish, which speaks to hard economic times. And then around 3325, which we're at, the site was abandoned. And we don't know why. We'll just rest these guys a little bit. But anyway, they moved east. They spread out through here into the Indus River Valley. And they became a really thriving civilization called the Indus River Valley Civilization, otherwise known as the Harappan. And they were cool as heck, man. And we'll talk about them in the next episode. So thank you very much for tuning in. Please go click the like button. The like button is awesome. It makes these videos show up in search results. And subscribe if you like what you heard. We're going to do a lot of... Indian history is awesome. All I'm doing is repeating it. You're going to hear a lot of awesome stuff. So tune in for all of that. Have a great day and farewell.